Where did that north wind come from? Cold. There's been a north wind pickup, and it's cold. Hello? I caught some at a different pond earlier, but here I had one run with it for about 8 seconds and then drop it before I could set the hook. We had a cold front come through last night and like dumped freezing rain, so the water temp dropped from like upper 50s to upper 40s. Largemouth bass. I'll have to call it though, because it's getting cold. When I first got out here, they were all up on the bank when the sun was still up. Now that the sun gone down, that water temp's dropping. We're moving back out deep. Oklahoma. Northwestern, like Panhandle area. Almost. Not quite in the Panhandle. Close. Yeah. Probably the only comments, to be honest. Usually I get pretty close to 10 and then it drops off to just 1 or 2. It's the same people. And they usually stay for 5-10 minutes and then they leave. And then there's nobody. Then I restart. Oh. – 100% just had one grab it right there. I appreciate it. I'm fishing for largemouth. Okay, well the water temp's got to be at least mid-50s because there's a turtle that just poked his head up right in front of me. And if the turtles are active, then it's still got to be at least mid-50s. There's grass in the bottom, but I don't really live in an area where lily pads grow. It gets too cold for the lily pads here, and they don't grow even in the summer. You're doing what, Sean? Yeah, it's pretty cold. I mean, this last week it was like in the 50s, 60s, and even 70s. In fact, one day got to like 78. Lows in the upper 30s to low 40s. And then yesterday it was 40 for a high and it dropped down to 25 and we got freezing rain. And then today it got up to 65. And then this next coming week is going to be low 40s, upper 20s. Well, I appreciate it. Oh, well, I've never seen a lily pad grow here. It doesn't happen. We don't have the right kind of water, I suppose. I'm sure if I introduced them, I could get them to grow pretty good. But I'd have to introduce them. I try. I think I'm going to change to a red fluke because it is pre-spawn season. So maybe the red will piss them off enough. If the pond was deep enough, I'd be throwing an A-rig, but this pond isn't very deep. Okay, got ourselves a little flaming hot Guggen Dart, 5-inch. For one, I bet they could see it a lot better. For two, it's red, and it's pretty much pre-spawn season already. This last week accelerated it, and then it got cold again. But we're definitely pre-spawn. And they can probably see this a lot better. I do have top waters, but I'm not going to throw them because it's too cold. Top water would definitely not work right now. But I have top water lures. Yeah, I have a lot. I have a little bit of everything. I got everything from a fly setup to a 8-inch glide bait, you know. But it's too cold for a glide bait or a top water. Although I did consider throwing a 7-inch. Just because I could. I mean, yeah, during the right time of year, top waters are great. But where I am right now, oh, that's a fish. Oh, he's gone. In the summer, top water would be great. But, I mean, it's dead of winter right now, and the water, it's just too cold. I mean, even in the south, it's not very good because they just had a freeze and it killed all the fish off down there. Had a giant fish kill down in the south because of that freeze that they had. My favorite movie? That's probably the first Twister. I could burn out a CD watching that movie. I don't really watch a lot of animated movies anymore. I do like Big Hero 6. It is a good movie. But I don't really watch animated movies anymore. £12, 6 ounces out of this pond. This little mud hole pond. 12 pounds, 6 ounces. She died 2 years ago. Found her floating in the waters. Tragic day. Yeah, it was pretty big. I have yet to catch a fish that came even, within 5 pounds of that. Well, I say that. I caught a 7 last year, earlier in the spring, and a 5 later that day, but that was about it for last year for big fish. See, the problem with where I live is that everybody here, I'm one of the very few people that fish for sport where I live. Most people fish for food, or some people just don't understand. But when you kill a big fish like that, those genetics are gone, and not every fish gets that big. Not every fish has the genetics to get that big. First of all, your numbers are virtually cut in half for big fish because, male and female, males have never gotten any bigger than 3 pounds. I say that, there's probably a couple that were a little bit bigger. But males don't typically get bigger than 3 pounds. And then, you got the females with the bad genetics that are stunted, that aren't going to get any bigger. And then those stunted bass give off bad genetics. Then you have the actual big ones with good genetics that someone catches, and then they take it home and eat it, taking those genetics out of the water. But I mean, last month I put a couple, well, I say last month, December I put a couple 3s and 4s in here, and then I put a couple 3s and 4s in the neighboring pond, so hopefully no, I think I'm probably gonna call it here, to be honest. I gotta get inside. I'm getting cold. There's a north breeze that picked up and it's kind of making it miserable. Right now, it's probably like 37. Based off of the fact that there's ice on my guides and I can't really feel my hands, I'd say it's about 37. I'm a southerner, man. I don't like cold weather. It was 67 when the sun was still up. I can wear a sweatshirt and pants and then go run for a mile in 100-degree heat. That doesn't bother me. But I don't like the cold. Oh, there's a screech owl. New York, Philly, Massachusetts. Where are you from? Wisconsin? Maine. So you're the farthest northern state. I'd like to get a cabin in Maine, go smallmouth fishing there in the summer. Well, I'm talking about the furthest northern state in the landlocked 48. Because, I mean, that would mean that, Texas is not the furthest southern, because Hawaii would be. I have never caught a smallmouth in my entire life. I have caught a 12-pound largemouth, caught a 9-pound channel cat, 17-pound striper, a 6-inch walleye, 1.5-pound crappie, a 2-pound bluegill, and 2 rainbow trout in the same day that were over 20 inches. Those are all my PBs. But I think I'm gonna skedaddle. Nope, never caught a pike. Never caught a pickerel. Never caught a muskellunge. I've caught a few of those. I released a couple of those in here. But I gotta go. I'm cold and I'm hungry.